Hey, what's up, guys? Uh, I hope you are all doing well, and if not, then that's also fine. Um, we all go through phases of elateness and sadness or anger or whatever it is you're feeling. It's valid and it's okay that you're feeling it. So, in this video, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences after 5 months of no contact. So I broke up 5 months ago with a girlfriend that I've been seeing for almost 3 years, I think. And I kind of wanted to share a little bit about my experiences, basically, with this amount of time. Because for me personally, when I just broke up, it was very helpful to see other people talk about their experiences, to hear them talk about their experiences after a specific time post breakup, right? And so I hope this will also be helpful for you some way. So I did 5 months of no contact now, so I didn't talk to my ex at all. I do still sometimes check her social media, but I mean I cannot really see anything because we blocked each other, and um, her account is on private, so I can only see the amount of followers and the amount of posts she makes. So I don't know why I still do it. It's probably because I haven't completely let go of her yet, or the idea of some kind of connection. So I find comfort in that sometimes. It doesn't really upset me, or I don't really feel like it's really hurting me when I do it. It's more like I do it like once a day or something, just to, I don't know, see if she's still alive. Or I don't know why I do it. It's just something that I do. So in general, I feel very calm and peaceful about it. I mean, I know we both needed to end the relationship in order to reach a next level, like a different stage in our lives, right? Because we were kind of like stuck. We kept each other stuck at the same place, and a breakup was necessary to create the space and to free up the energy and time and attention to direct towards ourselves, right? Because we were very focused on each other, and when you break up with someone, you're forced to redirect that attention on yourself, back onto yourself. And that is kind of what I've been doing these past few months. Like in the beginning, it was very overwhelming, and I was not very able to think clearly. And it's also like the addiction that you have to get rid of. You have to allow your body to adapt and to get comfortable again with not having that person there all the time, or not being able to talk to them all the time, right? And it's you have withdrawal symptoms when you go through that. So it's normal that it feels super overwhelming. And right now it's all a lot more, how would I say, like equalized. It's less volatile, it's less chaotic, it's less confusing. But I still think of her. I still sometimes miss her, and what missing means is that I believe, that I think that things would be better if she would be with me, or if I would be with her, like together, right? But then I immediately realized that, okay, like especially now with the pandemic, it's almost impossible to be together with basically anyone. Um, so that is not a realistic idea. So then I realized that it's just a temporary feeling. It's a temporary feeling of longing and lack also, because you kind of like feel like you lack something whenever the person is not there. And it's important to realize that it's just a temporary feeling. It's okay to feel like that. It's okay to want to be with him or her, in my case her, and that's fine. It's totally fine, and it will go away. You will again not think of your ex-partner, and you will put your focus and attention on something else. And so the no contact, I think, is important to allow yourself to go through these phases of wanting to be with that person or wanting to reach out, or because if you actually break the no contact, then you don't allow yourself to go through the difficulties of not doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it's important to realize that you're able to not reach out, to be smart about it, and whenever you feel this urge, that you find ways to deal with it on your own, because there's going to be other temptations in life that you will want to engage in, but you shouldn't. All right. So by learning this through no contact with your ex-partner, you also cultivate a skill of not giving in to temptations that you're feeling, and you learn to deal with the uncomfortable feelings that go with that, the temporary uncomfortable feelings that go with that urge, that temptation that's there, right? And so I believe that no contact is crucial to go through that, because if you do talk and if you do reach out, then you can always fix that problem real quickly, because you can just talk, but if you can't talk, or you decide to not talk, then you force yourself basically to deal with it in a different way, to be creative about it, to solve the uncomfortable feelings within you. And for me personally, it works to just pull out my computer and open up a Word document and start writing what I kind of like wanted to talk her about. And it's very healing process for me, because I can express anything and everything I want to express, but she doesn't have to read this. She doesn't have to hear this. Like, I will never send it. I'll just save it in a folder, and that's where I put all my letters that I send her, like imaginatively send her when I feel like I want to talk, right? So you might want to try out something similar if you feel like you miss your ex-partner or your spouse or whatever, whoever you miss. Just pull out a piece of paper or a Word document and start writing what you wanna talk to them about. And it's nice to be able to do that, because you release a lot of the energy, you process things, you heal. It feels good to be able to do that. So this is something that's very helpful for me. And another thing is just focusing on things that you want to do, right? Like, I realize now, when I look back, like the past few months, I have been doing so many things that would have been impossible if I would have still been in the relationship. I came to Tulum, so I'm here in Mexico in Tulum. I spent here like almost 3 months now, I think, 2.5, 3 months. I met so many people. I did a lot of things that I would have otherwise not been able to do if I would have still been in that relationship. Plus the added amount of time that gets freed up because you don't spend it with your partner, right? Like, there is so much time and space and attention and energy that gets freed up if you break up with someone, because we usually tend to spend a lot of time with our partners, not even like in close proximity, but also like texting, calling, staying in contact, giving each other attention. Well, now when the partner is no longer there, all this attention you can then put it back onto yourself. You can use that time and energy to do things you could otherwise never do, or to start a new project, or to talk to other people, or like the energy that it frees up, the space, the mental space that it frees up. In the beginning, it feels weird because it's like a void. You feel like, what should I do with all this extra energy? And like, I have so much love to give, and this is like, the thing that I hear often, that I hear people talk about often, like, I have so much love to give, but there's nobody to give it to. That's not really true. You can give that love to yourself first, right? You will always be there, so you can give that love to yourself, and you can also give it to your loved ones, your family, your friends, even maybe like strangers or homeless people or people who are suffering financially, whatever it is. You can always give your love, right? It's not that, oh, nobody's there to take it. That's not true at all. Like, there's so many people who appreciate you sharing your love and your kindness and compassion with them. And it doesn't always have to be a romantic partner, right? And so the no contact ensures that the energy and the attention is not leaking towards your ex-partner. Your thoughts sometimes might wander there, and then you give them a little bit of attention in your head, sure, and it's fine if that happens. It's totally okay, and then you want to like let it out and not judge yourself for thinking about them or wanting to reach out, because it's human, it's normal, it's okay to want that. And then you want to also, after you've validated the way you feel and allowed yourself to feel like you do, you want to put your attention and your focus on something else that engages you, right? For me personally, it is creating a video like this, talking to someone that I like, going into nature. There's so many things you can do, right? And this allows your focus and attention to be moved, to be directed onto something else, and this will cause you to not think about them for a while, for a little bit, like, or even a long time, like it's not all set in stone and all fixed, like it's a fluctuating thing, it's change, it's constant change, and that's what's good about it, right? That's what's good about it. The change is forever, it's perpetual, and you gotta allow yourself to flow with it, to go with the change. And it's nice to realize that, okay, with time things really get better. Like, even though I still think of her, I still sometimes fantasize about being together and having fun and or whatnot, and that's okay. It's fine to think of those things. Like, you're not hurting anyone by doing that. Maybe yourself a little bit, but not necessarily, because if you're able to appreciate those feelings and those thoughts and those memories, then it's actually like a good thing, right? If you can be a little bit nostalgic about it, or get some comfort, or just be aware that you don't trap yourself in this fantasy world. You don't want to hold on to it too much and forget about what life you're actually living, right? So you wanna be aware. It's the awareness that makes a difference. Um, so with there was something else that I was thinking about, but I cannot really remember what it was. Like, something else that I think is also useful or helpful is doing some kind of gratitude or appreciation meditation, where you really focus on feeling grateful for what you had and also wishing them the best. Like, I really wish my ex the best. I wish she finds someone that she really feels close to, and that she feels loved by, and appreciated by, and understood. She feels like she's being understood by him, right? I hope she will feel loved and connected and appreciated, because that's what she deserves, right? Like, everybody deserves somebody who loves them for who they are, who takes really good care of them. And for me, it helps to think about it in that way, to think about whenever she comes up in my mind. I enjoy imagining her being happy, or imagining her feeling love, because that's actually what I care about, right? Like, if you love someone, you want them to feel happy and and fulfilled. And sometimes it's painful, because we our egos are involved, and we feel like, oh, if she now is happy with someone else, that means that I'm a piece of shit, or that I'm unworthy, etc., etc. All these negative thoughts, and you want to catch yourself thinking those, because that's not at all the case, Like, it doesn't mean that if she finds, or if he finds someone that makes them happy, or that makes them feel loved, then that doesn't mean that you are bad or unworthy. Not at all. It's just that they now needed something else or someone else, and it's just different. It's not better or worse, it's just different. And that is something to keep in mind, that people change and times change, and there is no better or worse necessarily. There is only the right thing at that very time. And sometimes people jump right into rebound relationships, and then all right, then what? Like, they just do it to make themselves feel better. It's not to it's not actually gonna help. And maybe if it does help, then that's also totally okay, right? Like if they, after 1, 2, 3 months, they find someone else and they are happy together, well, good for them, right? Like maybe for you it's not the right time. Like I like to believe that the universe doesn't give you what you want; it gives you what you need, and that is something that I find helpful, and it gives me some sense of comfort, because if I believe that, then I don't have to suffer from not having what I want, because it's not what I need, right? And then whenever it appears, and I actually meet someone that I'm really into and it's really into me, then that's what I need at that very time. And if it's not happening, then that's fine. Then this that means that it's not what I need. And maybe your ex-partner, they jump into a rebound relationship, and that is precisely what they need to realize, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. And then they learn through that, and they come to conclusions, or they don't, and that's also fine. What they're doing in their life is now not relevant anymore to your life, and it's something that I find very difficult sometimes to let go of. Like I might be thinking about, oh, what she's doing, how is she feeling, etc., etc. But that doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, it does, because you kind of like still care about that person, obviously, but it doesn't matter in the sense that it has no impact on what you're doing or who you are as a person or what your value is in the world, right? So you want to minimize the amount of time you spend thinking about your ex-partner, and you want to, when you do it, try to do it in a way that generates gratitude and positive feelings, not like negative, nasty, hateful thoughts, because those will only make you feel worse. They will only make you feel worse, and maybe temporarily they will feel good, kind of, but it's not really working. I believe that it's more helpful if you think happy, appreciative, grateful thoughts, because by showing them gratitude, you also show yourself gratitude, in a sense. Like you cultivate this positive energy inside you, and you can project it onto them, but it also reflects back on yourself, and that is can be very healing to do that. So yeah, 5 months, things will continue to get better. I still think of her. I still sometimes check her stuff, even though I cannot see anything. It's okay to feel like that. Um, and realizing that what you crave or what you desire is not necessarily what you need, and it's a lesson in accepting that life goes its own flow. Like you have agency and you can take action towards things that you care about, but ultimately it's a combination of things, a combination of you running into the right things, exposing yourself to the right things, taking action, but also having faith that it will turn out to be exactly the way it should be. And that is, for me, a very helpful belief, to believe that life will unfold exactly the way it should unfold, and that by focusing my attention on the things that I care about and that I think are right, that eventually things will turn out to be precisely the way they should be. So try to figure out what you care about, what you think is important. Try to figure out your own values, your core values, the thing that you stand for, what is really truly important, and then take action towards being that person. Imagine yourself the most virtuous or most value aligned person you can potentially possibly be. Like, for me it's important to help others, to be inspirational, to be kind, to be compassionate, stuff like that. I imagine myself that ultimate person, and then I strive towards that ideal. It's not my goal to reach it, because I know I will never reach it, because it will always move and change. but it's good to aim in that direction. It's good to aim for. It's good to aim to become that person, and by how you aim for that is by taking action that is in line with the values that this ideal person um, has, right? And compassion and kindness is something that I care about. So when I think of my ex, then I also try to cultivate compassionate, kind, grateful thoughts and words. Even when I talk to myself or when I talk to someone else, it's good. It's healing, and it helps to process everything and to let go and to accept whatever you are going through. So yeah, 5 months no contact. It's been an interesting journey. I've learned a lot, and I believe that you will too. And it's okay to sometimes still struggle with it, to find it difficult to not reach out, to not contact them. But I think it's a good decision to not do it and to refrain from reaching out and to just deal with the uncomfortable feelings that goes with that, because you realize that the uncomfortable feelings, they go away eventually. You don't want to reach out, and then maybe a few days later you want to reach out again, but then the feelings disappear again, and the time between these urges, they become longer, you know. Like maybe in the beginning you want to reach out every day, and then maybe every 2 days, and then maybe every week, and then maybe every month, and then eventually you will probably not want to reach out, and really realize that you've let go. And then maybe at some point, when it's their birthday, whatever, you feel like you want to reach out just because you want to know how they're doing, but you're not really craving their attention anymore, or you not really care that much about whether they want to talk to you or not. It's just like interests in their lives, right? Because they were important people after all, right? So you wanna not forget about that, and I try to remind myself of that whenever I feel like I miss her, or whenever I feel like I have difficulties imagining um, her moving on, for example, because sometimes it makes me feel anxious when I think about it. Like, oh, she's probably with some other guy now, and she feels really good together, and she's having so much fun, and all these thoughts. They're the worst possible scenario. Well, not necessarily worst, because they're actually the best. Because if I'm really honest, I would want her to have that experience, but my ego is kind of afraid, because then I think that I might be worse than this new guy, but or this her new partner. Um, but that's not at all the case. Like, it's just different, and you cannot forget about that. It's important to realize that people change, and the universe gives you what you need, and the breakup was probably exactly what I needed and what you need too, in order to realize a lot of things, to grow, to figure out what you want in life, to learn to navigate these difficult situations. And that is exactly how it should be. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's difficult. But it's definitely doable. You are absolutely capable of navigating this hardship. 100%, I guarantee you are capable to do that, and you will get out of it much much wiser, much stronger, and you will have learned so much about yourself. And like, if you after you've completely healed and moved on still wanna be together, well, then there is always room for getting back in touch and talking, communicating. But I think that if I'm really honest, if I'm completely healed, then I will probably not want to start another relationship with my ex, because we just changed so much, and I know more clearly what I want and what I care about, what I stand for, and her values were not necessarily in line with that, and so they would clash again, and it would again not work, right? So now it's time to become more clear on what I want, and become more clear on the boundaries, where my boundaries are, and then I will meet someone else who is resonating with those values and boundaries and goals and dreams and everything, right? And that is ultimately what what this breakup will teach you and me, that okay, there will be someone else that resonates with us on a different level and a different timing, and then maybe that might be a better match at that specific time, which doesn't mean that the previous match was worse. No, not at all, just different. So sorry, my computer got a little bit overheated, so I wanted to check if it's still okay, recording okay. So another question that you might ask yourself, or that I sometimes ask myself, is, does my ex still love me? After 5 months, does she still love me? Because I still feel like I think of her or my partner, right? And you wonder if they do the same. And I believe that if you had an intimate, very strong connection for at least a year or 2 years, then for sure they are at least still going to be thinking of you. And that is actually, I think, the question you are really asking, like, does my ex still think of me? Because thinking means attention, and attention actually means love. So by does they still love me, do they still love me, it's actually, you're asking the question of, do they still think of me, or do they still care, right? Because the attention is the love. And so if you've spent a significant amount of time together, then yes, I definitely believe that they're still thinking of you. It's you cannot remove somebody completely from your memory. It's impossible. Like, they're part of you. Like, they're part of your brain even. Like, the memories are there. So it's impossible to, I believe, completely not think about anyone else. And loving, I have difficulties with that, because it's mostly just the addictive part, right? Like, what is true love? What is real love? Love is acceptance. Love is letting go. Love is allowing the person you care about to grow into the person they need to be. Like, I believe that loving someone means supporting them to become their ultimate potential. That is what true love means to me, to really let them be who they are and support them in becoming the best version of themselves. That is what I believe is very close to what true love means, right? So the addictive side of things, like the ego kind of involved things, right? How do they still love me? Do they still care about me? Do they still think I'm better than the ones they're dating right now, or whatever it is? That's all ego. That's not real love. That's not real love. It's mostly just, wanting to feel good about yourself. And so, does my ex still love me? It means, do they still think of me? I believe, like I said earlier, if you spend a significant amount of time together and you shared a lot of memories and experiences, that for sure they will still sometimes think of you. Like, like if you're walking down the street and you're hearing a song that reminds them of you, for them it's exactly the same, right? So they will also sometimes think that you cannot control that. It's just the thoughts pop into your mind. Like, if you do meditation, you notice that thoughts just randomly pop into your mind. So it happens to them as well, because the memories are there. They will think of you, but it's not necessarily like love in the sense that, um, I mean, the love that usually, I mean, at least I talk about, if I ask myself, does she still love me, is more the ego thing, right? Does she still care? Am I still important to her? Am I still important? Do I still matter? And that is what we're afraid of if we break up, that we don't matter anymore, right? That we are not important anymore, that we are unlovable, unworthy, and those things you gotta cultivate for yourself. You gotta create worthiness for yourself. You gotta accept yourself for who you are, and the way you do that is by focusing on your goals, and by being, by taking action, by paying attention, by becoming aware. All these things, they cultivate this sense of worthiness and self-love, and that's what you wanna focus on after a breakup as much as possible, because this person breaking up with you, it causes so many um, feelings of insecurity to surface, and not everybody is even aware. Sorry, aware of that. But the intense pain you're experiencing allows you to dig into that, and come out of it stronger. So yes, does my ex still think of me? Does she still love me? I believe that it is equal to does she still care, or does my partner still care, and do they still think about me? And I believe 100% yes. If your relationship was um, long enough, like if it's 1 month, I don't know, probably didn't have enough time together to really, and maybe sometimes they still think, right? And people don't have control over the thoughts popping in their heads. So yes, for sure, they are sometimes thinking of you, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they um, should be with you or you should be with them. There's many people thinking of you probably at some point. And the breakup was there for a reason. So yeah, you just gotta accept and let go. And it can be a comforting thought that they sometimes still think of you because you feel like you think of them. But know that they do for sure, 100%. Like it's just a fact almost. So I hope that provides you with some comfort and some relief. So thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards. Thank you for making yourself and the planet a better place one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.